This is a Ruger #1. An absolutely beautiful rifle. I mean, a beautiful rifle. I bought this rifle, I don't know, 40 some years ago. It's a light sporter in 30-06. And 40 or more years ago, I gave this rifle to a very good friend. And my friend Gary, that you'll see some pictures of him in one of the videos, and I think it's my favorite rifle, or is this the perfect deer rifle? One of those videos. There's some pictures of me when I had my little Ruger #1 International, and out in Colorado, and Gary and I was there, and he had a 7mm Magnum medium sporter, but I had given him this Ruger #1 in light sport in 30-06. Gary has developed a physical condition that don't let him hunt like he used to. Gary was the only person that I ever hunted with in my life that we could spread out in the morning and hunt off through the woods, and I could tell you within a few yards of where he was at any given time. We hunted alike, we thought alike, we looked alike. And Gary's got a muscle problem, his muscles deteriorating, and thinks he just can't hardly shoot. He can't shoot. He can't hold a gun. He can't do anything like that. But right now we're in the process of trying to. He's on a motorized wheelchair, and we're going to do our best to see if we can't get him back to hunt on a hunt. He's a heck of a cook. I mean, the smoker. He smokes meats and stuff, cheeses. You wouldn't believe it. But he hadn't been able to hunt. So we're going to do our best to figure out what we can do to get Gary back into the fields where he can shoot. We've got to have a way to mount that gun on his motorized chair. And we're working on that and getting it pretty close. We've got to figure out a way where he can pull the trigger. Going to have to be one of those tube things that you actuate it by puffing and blowing on it or something. But anyway, all those things mount. Virtually any kind of these remote things, they mount to your trigger guard. And then put pressure straight back onto your trigger. Well, that can't work with the Ruger #1s. But anyway, this gun has not been used for a while. Quite a while, as a matter of fact. And Gary tried to give it back to me. And I said, no. It's your gun, I gave it to you, you know. But he can't use it. So I said, Gary, would you consider loaning that on a long-term loan? So I've got it back, and you might as well say a long-term loan, for this is not my gun. This is Gary's gun. It will always be Gary's gun. But I've got it on long-term loan, and I'm going to try to. It's too good a gun just to set up and not be used. Gary can't use it. So, we're going to get some deer with this thing. But one way or another, we're going to get it fixed up where we can get him out into the field, get him a deer, or several, and I'll clean it, field dress it, cut it up and everything else, and he can cook it. But like I told you, anytime you want it back, just whistle, and it'll come home. This is Gary's gun, and it will always be Gary's gun. So I'm going to start to mount this scope that I just took off of that Marlin guide gun, 4570. I'm going to put it on a Ruger #1. Now, this scope, probably about as old as I am. Not really. It'd be pretty doggone old, be that old. But it is probably well over 40 years old. Probably well over 40. Anyway, it's a good scope. It's a little Perry X3. Got a few scars on it. Don't hurt a thing. They're just battle scars. Anyway, I want to clean that tube good. It's a good idea. Clean that with alcohol. I'm going to clean it with a little alcohol, get all the oil, grease, and everything off of it. Now, the rings, that little straight tube scope needs low rings on that Ruger. Does not need medium or high. It needs low rings. And when I'm looking around here trying to find what rings I've got, in low rings, I've got a set of blue and a set of stainless. Alright, I tried to find another set of blue. I can't find any local. Like everything else these days, they're hard to come by, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put one blue and one stainless on this rifle. My wife always says if I wear any camo or anything at all like that, I never match it out. I'm not much of a matching person, so you know, it's not going to hurt my feelings one bit, particularly at my age, to have a stainless ring and a blue ring on. Might be kind of neat. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I get it all cleaned out too. Now I'm going to go get the rifle that I'm going to put it on. So I'm going to kind of these mounts on it. Like I said, they're kind of I think I'll put the stainless one in the rear. What do you think? I think it looked better in the rear than it would in the front. So I'm going to put this ring on here. One thing about these Ruger rings, these integral Ruger rings, they're quite remarkable, really. You can pretty much put them on a rifle or put them on a gun. Take them off, put them back on. They generally go pretty much right back to zero. Not a lot of stuff will do that, but these do. So I'm going to put these on right now, just more or less hand tighten. Looks a little odd, but I don't think it'll help him hurt the way it shoots. So One stainless and one blue ring it is for the time being anyway. Maybe one day I can find me a blue ring and make it match. But right now, it don't match. So right now, first thing I'm going to do, just loosely lay my scope in here. Check things over and see if it looks okay, if everything looks alright. The alignment, everything looks good. So I'm going to just loosely set my rings on here, just loosely. And let's put the rear ones on. So it's just barely set in there right now. And I know I'm going to want it back about as far as I can get it. In this, I'll check and see what it looks like field of view wise. I know from experience on these things I'm going to have this scope back as far as it'll go. So that's where I've got it. So I'm going to go ahead and just loosely put the rest of the screws on. So I'm just going to loosely install all the screws. And I do mean loosely. Not only do I have a stainless rear set of rings and a blue front, I got toric screws in the back, slotted screws in the front. Thing may never shoot. Okay, so all the screws are on it, and I know that the way the River #1's made, the mounts are out here on this quarter rib, which is actually attached to the barrel, not back here on the action. And by its nature, it sets the scope quite a ways forward. And on the higher power scopes, it's got a more critical eye relief. I actually use the rings as extension rings that extend, move this point back about yay far, so I can move the scope back further. But on these little 1.5 to 5s, it works just fine just by moving your scope back about as far as you can possibly get it. As you can see right here, if going further, I'll be hitting my turrets. So that's about where I want it. Now I gotta get it on there square and level. So here I'm using the Wheeler scope mounting system. I've got my level here in the flat part of the base so I can get the rifle itself perfectly level. And there it is. Then I put my, back here boy, put the level on the scope itself, check it. Oh my goodness. What?
I'm going to sit down for a minute.
So the gun is perfectly level. The scope is almost. Gun back. Very close. Get my glasses. That's about as good as I'm going to get it. Slow this one down for a little bit. It won't take much to sort of hold the scope in place. When you were tightening down your screws and what have you, want to alternate them side to side, and you want to keep track of the split right here in your rings where your top and bottom meet right here, and you want to keep that kind of evened up on each side. Don't draw one side way down and the other one way up. Right, that looks pretty good. We're going to take these off. Just take a got to see if everything looks good through the wire. I think that's probably pretty doggone good. Looks good to me. Put it on here one more time. Check it out. Go ahead and start snugging up the rest of these screws. And I'll alternate all the way around. You want to alternate and keep a close tab on your gap here. Back on. Check it out again. looks good. I'm going to go ahead and get things tightened down. So in the previous video, I said when you mount your scope, you want to find the center. You want to line that erector tube up in the center of the main tube. And the way you do that, you've got to go your adjustments all the way from one end to the other. So I'm turning my adjustments all the way down till it bottoms out. Beginning to wonder if it's going to have a bottom. But it did. So I'm going to determine revolutions, see how many revolutions it takes to come all the way up now. That's one. Two. Three. Four revolutions. Five. Six. 7, 8 revolutions. So I'm going to go down 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got my vertical adjustment. I got my erector tube centered as far as my vertical adjustment is concerned. Now I've got to do the same thing on the horizontal. Two, three, four, 8.5. So now, the erector tube should be centered in the main tube. So I have bore sighted this thing, and it looks surprisingly good. I don't think I'm going to have to do any shimming at all. That's a good deal. I'm going to try a couple of more places around here on that bore sighting. See if it still looks good. Let me try a couple more. I think that its scope is on here okay. Looks good to me. It's nice and tight, level. Been put on the level. It all looks good. It feels good. The level says it's right. When I look through it, everything looks right. Good. Just plain. Feels good. So now it's got a scope, I think properly mounted and bore sighted. Bore sight looks good on it, by the way. Now I'm going to have to put something on paper and see what it really looks like. I believe it's going to be okay. So this is rigger number 1 that hasn't seen any use in a long time. Now has a scope mounted on it. Got this oddball colored ring, but I reckon I just had to stay that way as a something to remember by. Anyway, this beautiful rigger number 1, 30-06. Next stage, start working up some loads for it. What a wonderful feeling rifle. And I'll be able to, I'm going to work up 2 loads. 180 grain, close range woods load with the iron sights that's on it, and 150 or 165 grain load for reaching out there and touching something. So, in the video that I talked earlier about using your rear base to for your windage, like on your low pole bases, and shims to get your vertical. These Ruger mounts, and where it's this whole system, where it's dovetailed in there, where it's and the rings that fit on it, they line up apparently just about perfect. You're not going to have to do any shimming or anything else. Ruger did a wonderful job on this. So, next I'll be working up some loads for it and taking it to the range. So now I've got Gary's rifle with a all set up with scope. Be ready to start working up some loads for it. Because this thing is going back into use. And we gotta get Gary back into use. Maybe not with this rifle, but we'll get Gary back. We gotta get my buddy back into the hunting field. You gotta admire him. I mean, he's got all kinds of problems. I mean, what a heck of a person that can to be as active outdoors and everything he was, and to be in the shape he is now. It's a remarkable person. We got to do, me and a couple of these other friends, or one way or another, we're going to get him back into the woods where he can take deer himself. And we're going to take deer with, he might not be able to take him with this rifle, but I will. I'll get him a deer with this rifle. Old Gary here is going back to the woods and the fields. Get him loaded up so we got something to feed him, and work up some loads so we got something to feed him. Take him out to the range in the next few days. Come on with us.